Over the past year, I've been working on my first SaaS project, and along the way, I made lots of mistakes. And before we get into those mistakes, firstly, I want to show you what I actually built. My SaaS is called CurseGuard, and it helps content creators automatically detect and censor profanity from their videos or audio. I watch a lot of content on YouTube, and I noticed a lot of creators remove profanity from their videos so they can avoid getting their videos demonetized. And I thought doing this manually probably takes a lot of time, especially for long-form content. So I decided to build a tool that will automate the process. The problem is, I never actually stopped to ask if people actually need this, if this was a genuine problem that needed to be solved. Which brings me on to mistake number 1, no market validation or research. I started building right away, didn't stop to ask if anyone actually needs this, if anyone would actually pay for it. I just started coding. I assumed that because I found this idea interesting, other people would too, and would actually pay me for it. But the problem is, nobody cares for your idea unless it solves a painful problem for them. And after building the proof of concept, I realized that I might have spent months working on something that people won't actually use at all. So instead of building the whole project, I decided to build a landing page with a waitlist form and a demo feature. This way, I could see if people will actually have interest in this. And this brings me on to my second mistake, picking the wrong UI framework. For my landing page, I decided to use Angular, since this was something I was comfortable with and already using at my day job. In the beginning, this made perfect sense for me. I already knew the framework, and I decided to build everything from scratch. No UI component libraries, no CSS frameworks. But this approach took forever. Styling, responsiveness, layout bugs, they all started adding up. What started as a simple landing page quickly turned into weeks of debugging and tweaking things that didn't even matter. And the funny part is, I wasn't even focused on validating my idea. I was focused on building the perfect front end. I convinced myself that this was a good learning experience. But the problem with that was that this wasn't the point of the project. This wasn't supposed to be a project for my portfolio. I was supposed to be building a business. So, after a few months of fighting with Angular, I decided to switch to Next.js. And honestly, it was the best decision I've made so far. And paired with a component library and Tailwind CSS, I could make things a lot faster. Plus, I already had a bit of React experience, so it didn't take long to get used to it. And suddenly, I could actually focus on building what's important, like improving copy, testing new features, and trying to optimize my landing page so that I can actually get users. And to show you just how much Next.js simplified my project, here's a comparison between both my Angular project and the Next.js project, as well as the differences I made in the UI itself, based on some feedback I got from friends and other developers in the SaaS community. As you can see, the Angular project has so many more folders, components, and custom styling files, all just for a simple landing page. With Next.js, it's much more simple, cleaner, and more responsive. Oh, and I also forgot to mention how much better Next.js is for SEO, which is crucial for SaaS projects. Now that I had my landing page built, I needed a way to capture user emails. And this is where mistake number 3 comes in, picking the wrong service for my waitlist. It's a minor mistake compared to the first two, but I decided to include it anyway. For my waitlist, I decided to use Sender. It had a free plan, it let me collect emails, send automated replies, but I had a big issue with deliverability. My emails would end up in spam, and this is honestly a big issue long term. Not being able to reach customers, not being able to give them news, promotions, discounts. So I ended up switching over to Resend, which is much more developer friendly and much more reliable. It's still not perfect, but it works for now. Looking back, I don't regret any of these mistakes. They taught me a lot of things. I learned that ideas mean nothing without validation. No matter how good you think your idea is, you're probably wrong. I also learned that speed matters more than perfection. Because if you can build and ship things quickly, you can get feedback a lot more frequently, which in the end will lead to a more perfect product. And finally, I learned that the right tools can save you months of frustration. So don't be afraid to try things out. If something doesn't work for you, switch over to something else. If you're also working on your first project, don't get caught up in frameworks, design systems, or trying to build the perfect app. Focus on validating your problem and getting your first users. It's better to have 10 people who love your product instead of thousands who think it's just cool. So yeah, that was my first real SaaS journey, full of lessons, wrong turns, and late nights. I hope you all learned something. Make sure to subscribe and maybe check out my first SaaS CurseGuard in the description below.